Hello there, junior archaeologist. Welcome back. Sometime recently, I realized that there are 5 Wednesdays in the month of April, which means that there is a hole in my upload schedule. And so rather than trying to make something up or whatever, I figured I'd do a more vloggy style video this week. Namely, what have I been doing with my time off? And the most obvious answer to that is that I have been making videos. Anyway, here's a glimpse into what I've been doing with my time off. Or I guess more like my extended winter break. Obviously, I'm enjoying the nice spring weather, eating the occasional ice cream, riding my bike, and making sure I still stay in field shape. I am also, however, still working on new content for the channel, including this video, obviously. And specifically, I have been shooting more field archaeology adventure videos, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do, because my whole idea for that series is that I go and explore places that I never had the time to, because I was always too busy traveling between field archaeology projects. But there's a lot less traffic in Reno these days, which means it's easier for me to bike around. So I started looking for more places to go bike riding, because now I didn't have to worry about getting flattened by a car. And that is how I found renohistorical.org. It has a whole bunch of walking tours of Reno, centered around particular neighborhoods or historic events. And obviously, no one says you can't ride your bike over a walking tour. And once I started looking into these walking tours, I realized that Reno has a more interesting history than I thought, which is how I got the idea to film locations on the Midtown walking tour, script up the descriptions that were on the website, and add info I cross-referenced when I could. Midtown is especially easy to film right now, because the city is putting the lockdown to good use by speeding up the upgrades it's been making to Virginia Street, which just so happens to be the central street that runs right through Midtown. They had only been closing one side of the street while construction went on the opposite side, but now the whole street is closed, which means that I could set up my camera wherever I want. It also doesn't hurt that the weather and skies have been surprisingly good looking the whole time I've been filming around Midtown, so let's go take a look. This first building is obviously Sundance Books, a well-known Reno landmark, at least as far as bookstores go, but it wasn't always a bookstore. And South Virginia used to be a residential neighborhood at the edge of a growing Reno, and for a while, Virginia Street was part of State Route 395 after the neighborhood became a commercial corridor, obviously, which is why people thought it would be a good idea to build motels in a part of town that these days at least isn't much of a tourist destination and definitely isn't close to any of the freeways. This building was the place where the first FM radio station in Nevada was started, and just down the street was what was once the nicest car dealership in town. I also wanted to add here that it's been a very crazy time to be filming in a closed down Reno. I also hope to never see anything like it again. even if it makes for pleasant evenings spent filming. I know this has been a rough time for a lot of people, but every time I see a family out for a walk in places where I've spent years seeing no one walking, enjoying the beautiful neighborhoods they live in, or people using a bike that they don't seem to have used in years, or people grilling outside, or enjoying a nice evening with their families at houses where I have never ever seen a single person outside, makes me glad that I'm not the only person who has been trying to make the best of this strange time. When I first moved to Reno, a friend and I tried to figure out the best way to describe the place, and what we came up with was characterless. But that was because the only parts of town we had seen were the downtown casinos that neither of us were interested in going in, or the malls at the outskirts of town, where we'd stock up on supplies for our next field archaeology project. I remember I had already been living in Reno for almost a year before I realized that the Truckee River runs right through the middle of town, and that there are actually trees here. And it has taken me until now to realize that Reno has had a very interesting history of constant evolution that mirrors the growth of the West itself, from a small town that you could literally walk end to end in an hour, maybe two, to a pre-Vegas Vegas, where city residents would have to dodge people who were only here to drink, gamble, and live it up until the divorces were finalized. And finally, a town where casinos are fading away and being replaced with cool new stuff, like climbing walls going stories and stories into the sky, or a Tesla factory that was built over what was a played-out old mine. I hope that these upcoming home edition field archaeology adventures will be as interesting to you as they were for me to film and research. Anyway, this has been a sneak preview of August and September's episode of Field Archaeology Adventures, and hopefully I will be back on the road and back to recording regular episodes by that time, knock on wood. I'm gonna close out this video with some more footage that I've been getting and some moody, vloggy, thoughtful music, because that seems to be a thing you do on YouTube. One last thing you are also supposed to say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification icon, because that really helps the channel, I think. And don't forget to have a nice day, Junior Archaeologist.